Today we're gonna talk about one of the worst books of all time, After by Anna Todd.
After him, there's just After.
This book was commissioned to be read by me, by Christopher, the same Christopher who commissioned to me, what? I can't speak today, clearly. Who commissioned me to read that E.L. James book. Thank you, Christopher, for commissioning this video. Here's the thing, this was a reread for me because I have already read all 4 of these books and I've watched all of the movies, and I'm gonna tell you why. But first, it's time for me to say thank you for being a friend to my patrons. Eric, Harley, Lex, SJ, Sierra, Molly, and Zachary. Thank you for being a friend. Today's therapy comes in the form of weed. It's gonna be weed, I'm sorry. I don't have anything funny to say. I'm gonna smoke some weed. There you go. And to my potato starch Marxists, Aiden, Allison, Andy, Anita, Brittany, Caitlin, Carlin, Celia, Chris, CJ, Corwin, Corey, Darren, Diet Goth, Dorian, Ebby, Eden, Elise, Aaron, Gracie, Horror Goose, India Inks, Jen, Jillian, James, Jules, Kate, Katie O, Quinn, Kylie, Laura, Marcella, Morgan R, Nicole, Paige E, Paige P, Peggy, Ray, Reba, Ren, Sammy, Sarah, Shannon, Shiny, Sean, Sierra, Talia, Ursula, Winter, and Writer A. Thank you for being a friend. I appreciate y'all. If you want to join Patreon, the link is down below. You get early access and we chit chat, and sometimes we vote on what I read next. There hasn't been a lot of voting lately because I am trying to prevent a reading slump. So last time we voted, I think it was on like Empire the Vampire, and I had to take a break from that because otherwise I really was going to be in a slump. Anyway, I'm really not selling my Patreon, am I? I promise that sometimes we have fun if you want to join. The link is down below. After by Anna Todd, I don't really have like a cohesive script for this. I just sort of have bullet points, which is rare for me. I'm gonna wing it today. I'm gonna wing it. You'll be able to tell too because when I don't script, I say a lot. So there's gonna be a lot of editing for editing Rachel to do. Sorry. So After by Anna Todd is about a girl named Tessa who goes to college, meets a boy named Hardin, and gets into a relationship, a thing with a guy named Hardin. And here's the thing, all of this was originally a Wattpad fanfic. Originally, Tessa was still Tessa, but Hardin was actually Harry Styles because this was One Direction fanfic. Now, I don't know much about One Direction. All I know is that Hardin is actually Harry Styles and Zed is Zayn. I can't name the other One Direction members, so I don't know. Could I have done more research? Yes, but why? Why would I subject myself to that? Apparently, now that this has become several published works and movies for and counting, Harry Styles knows about this and has basically said no comment. There has been like some lies around the internet, like Harry Styles got a what is it called? Restraining order against Anna Todd, which is not true. Would be kind of funny, but it's not true. Monster, please sponsor me. This book's biggest crime is really that it has no plot and no purpose and is not really a book. You can tell that it was very episodic in being written, and I don't mean episodic in the way of like TV shows, but like Anna would have writing episodes where she would just go online and do the tappity tap and hit publish and be done. There was never any purpose for writing this. It never had any themes. Like if you were to ask Anna, what is the reason for you writing this? What themes are you trying to convey? Tell us about the importance of this work. She would have been like, I don't have any. And if you would have asked her like 50% through writing it, she would have said, again, I don't have any. And I think that that tells you a lot about the inside of the book. The book opens and Tessa is like, if I would have known that everything would happen the way it happened. And it's like, this is so dramatic for no fucking reason, because all that's going to happen is she's gonna go to college, meet this dude, fight with him several fucking times, go around and around in a circle, and then the book will abruptly end. That's After by Anna Todd. It's also the sequels. All 3 of them are that exact same thing over and over. There's no purpose to this. It's all very stupid. There is fan fiction that is really fucking good. I have 2 friends who write fan fiction, and I would actually recommend their fan fiction to you. There is AO3 fanfic, people who know what they're doing, and then there are Wattpad writers like Anna Todd, who I don't trust. Anna Todd, I feel like, is the first in this thing where publishers were like, That is very popular. I would like to make a lot of money off of that, even though it's nothing. It is literally nothing. It's like buying a can of Pringles, which is already basically like a nothing food, and then just having the Pringles can be empty. There's nothing inside. This book is an empty Pringles can. You're not gonna feel fed after, you're just gonna feel disappointed. Also, Anna Todd, I question whether she knows anything about anything. You go into this book and she has Tessa saying, oh, I'm going to college, and people ask what college you went to before they ask for your name. What? Where? Why would anyone, what people are you speaking to that is a thing that has happened? I'm very confused. Again, I am a college dropout, so maybe I don't know. And then she's like, picking extracurriculars would feel like nothing in comparison to what happened to me. And I'm like, yeah, picking extracurriculars would feel like nothing in comparison to an abusive relationship. That is true. Okay. And of course, Tessa does not have a character arc. Like, she says she's gonna do a bunch of shit at college in the beginning of this book and then doesn't do any of them because, again, she starts college, goes around and around in a circle with Hardin, and then the book abruptly ends. So she's like, I'll join a literary club, doesn't. Also, I'm convinced that Anna doesn't know anything about college and college students. Like, at one point, Hardin's dad is the chancellor of the school, and Tessa's like, I'm trying to ignore the fact that I'm drinking in front of the chancellor of my school. Yeah, how is that possible, by the way? I don't feel like that's an actual thing that would happen. Anyway. Also, the extraneous details of this book abound because, again, there's no plot and it's 500 pages, so it has to have words in it, and those words are things like that. So, yikes. We start off, Tessa goes to college. Her mom is the worst, Carol. She's a terrible, awful person who is obsessed with self. It's Carol, Tessa, and her boyfriend. What is her boyfriend's name? Noah, who's a year younger than her, so he's a senior in high school. They go to college, they're dropping her off at the dorm, and it's so awkward because everything in the beginning of this book is heavy-handed info at telling you two things. Tessa is out of place, and Noah is not a boyfriend that she's like really into. So for instance, she says things like, I don't usually like his smell, but it's familiar, so I guess I'll miss it. You guess you'll miss the smell of your boyfriend because it's familiar? Why are you with him? Oh, that's right, because Anna wanted to make it so that there was a person in the way of her and Hardin being together. Right, I forgot. She also says, he's not that much taller than me. Don't worry, Harry Styles is especially taller than her. He is a fucking giant among men. At one point it says that his hand is so big that it covers the, you know, the red cups that college people drink out of. It's just like massive and it covers the cup. And it's like, okay, we get it. Hardin is fucking huge. We get it. Is Harry Styles even tall? I don't know anything about One Direction. Drop her off at her dorm and her new roommate Steph is there. This is Steph from the movie. Her boyfriend's looking at her roommate's boobs and she gets annoyed. She ends up going to a party a couple days later, I think, with Steph. Her boyfriend gets really judgmental about her having gone to this party, and she says, sometimes dating him is like dating an annoying little brother who tattles on me.
So, you're at a party. Have you been drinking? So you go to college and now you drink. That's really great, Tessa.
I really thought we left all that incest in that Cassandra Clare video, but alright. So again, it's all very heavy-handed to let you know that Noah is the fucking worst. He's annoying, he's not sexy, he doesn't want to make out, and they are gonna wait till marriage, and it's like, it's very clear that Tessa was almost written as a Christian, but then she decided not to do that. And again, it's very heavy-handed in making it unbelievably clear how out of place Tessa is at college. Okay, so she says, I cringe at all my roommates' animal print and leather. Oh god, so terrifying. Animal print and leather. She goes to a party, she gets called prissy. She talks about how hard she works to get where she is in response, and it's like, okay, but you know how like other people can wear animal print and also be a hard worker and go to parties? Like, it's so one-dimensional, and she never reckons with this mindset that she has about people, where it came from, how it negatively impacts relationships that she has, how judgmental she is, and how she judges Noah for being judgmental, but she's just as judgmental, how much like her mom Carol she is. She says, oh, tattoos and lip piercings, they seem like they probably hurt so much, so why do people do that? You have your ears pierced, why did you do that? Didn't that hurt? Like, it's just such stupidness, and I don't get it. There's this girl named Molly who hangs out with the group that Steph is a part of, that Steph in the book, Steph's boyfriend Tristan, I guess, who would be part of One Direction, is a guy. In the movie it's a girl. I prefer the movie for that. And in the books and in the movies there's this girl named Molly, and Molly is like the mean girl who is like a slut, and Tessa hates her. It's very heavy-handed, again, because that's the only thing that Anna knows how to write. And so Steph tells Tessa, oh, Molly's just intimidated because Tessa is so different. But Tessa also is like saying things about myself, oh, I'm so busty and I try to hide it in my modest clothing. I have a big butt. I'm trying to hide it in my modest clothing. And then she says things like, how did I end up hanging out with these hormonal college rock and roll misfits? And I'm like, Anna, were you born in this century? What the fuck? If Tessa is going to talk like that, make it have a point, a purpose, and an origin. What the fuck kind of college student who was not raised in a super like cloistered environment that is likely religious like I grew up in, what kind of college age girl is talking like that other than like a Duggar girl? Like, I don't get it. It also doesn't help that I read this on audio and the narrator has zero personality, but can you really bring personality to a book like this? I don't think so. So it's really not her fault. Well, of course we get to the part where she goes to a party and they're like playing truth or dare.
Truth or dare?
No.
And they're like, are you a virgin?
Are you a virgin?
A virgin in college. Oh my god. Say it is not so. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this except like toxic men who are like, bro, you need to get some pussy, otherwise you're not a guy. Nobody cares. That's stupid. Okay, so they're playing truth or dare and she gets dared to kiss Hardin. I don't think she does, and then she ends up walking away and going to his room, and he's like, why are you in my room, Tessa? She's like, oh, it's your room. And the dialogue is so weird between them, but it's even fucking weirder in the movie.
You looking for something?
Are you drunk?
He's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. It's Bronte, Teresa.
I know it's Bronte, and my name is Tessa.
Are we still playing? Because I think you owe me a dare.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear.
It's so stilted and creepy and cringy that movie, those movies, I shit you not, those movies are the same as Twilight in that other people were really excited for them, and I do not understand why, because I like, not that I'm being judgmental, but I don't get it, because when I watch those movies I am laughing at them. I am laughing at the way that they are put together. I'm laughing at the weird dialogue, the weird acting, and the most hilarious like use of music to instead of actually having scenes, just inputting like a song where dialogue should be. Like, there's this one part in the first movie where Tessa's like, oh, I'm gonna put on eyeliner while they play this Avril Lavigne cover, and then she wipes it off, and that's a whole scene.
But you become somebody else around everyone else. Honesty, you promised me I'm never gonna find you fake it. No, no.
What? Why was that there? These books also are so ableist. Like, the language in them is so ableist. I could not believe it. I didn't remember. Last time I read these was in 2018, okay? I was trying to read the Ember and the Ashes series, and I was super pregnant, and I had no brain cells. Pregnancy does not agree with me for several reasons, but that's one of them. I become like super stupid, like leaving my keys in the refrigerator, all kinds of shit that doesn't make sense to me, right? So I could not pay attention, and I was just like, what is a book that will require very little engagement on my part? And I just like was like, I could, you know, read just like a teen angsty romance thing. What are the kids reading these days? So I picked up After, and I read all 4 books, and I was like, wow, that was exactly as brainless as I needed it to be at that point in my life. It was so bad, so incredibly bad. It's like there's this genre of books. So this book has a lot in common with like Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire, where all it is girl goes to college, blonde girl goes to college, virgin, never been touched before, and she meets man who likes to fight a lot and drinks a lot and is bad boy and blonde girl are like, no, we couldn't, but we should, and then he takes her virginity and they fight a lot and they're in college. That's it. That's the whole thing. And you're like, why is this a thing? That's like a whole genre of books.
You bastard! London, where is she? I'm not telling you! Tell me where she is! Whoa!
Anyways, just like Beautiful Disaster, who was written by a disaster of a human, I have a video on her down below. This book is wildly ableist. Hardin asks her at one point, he's like, oh, in his English accent, which by the way, the narrator of the audiobook could not get the hang of whatsoever. So he's like, are you OCD or something? Wow, that's as best as I can do. And she's like, no, Hardin, not everyone is crazy just because they like things a certain way. And I'm like, listen, I am mentally ill, but I'm not crazy, and my OCD is not something for you to make fun of. Shut the fuck up. Don't make me bully you. And then it just gets like progressively worse. So she tells him at one point, you really should see a doctor and get on some medication for your mood swings. And it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize you were a doctor, Tessa, instead of a dumbass college student who thinks that animal print means that people don't work hard. That's weird. And then she also says, like in her internal monologue, he really is bipolar, I'm sure of it. Oh good. So we're gonna further stigmatize and perpetuate misinformation about bipolar disorder. Awesome. And then she says to him, you are institution with padded walls insane. Again, as somebody who actually was institutionalized, I take offense. Fuck off. Please fuck off all the way. Fuck off all the way to the college where nobody asks what your name is. They only ask what college you went to. Fuck all the way off. Cool. And it has the typical misogyny where it's like, girl is really small except in boob and butt area, but man is really big in every possible way except he's not fat because fatness would be gross. Of course, like, you know, she has an issue with him having had multiple sexual partners before, but her having had multiple sexual partners or not having multiple sexual partners is like really sexy to him. So he's like, your nightgown is so sexy and virginal looking. So because it's white, she looks like a virgin. She's fucking weird, bro. It's just a nightgown. And then he says things like, so she's, you know, a first timer and she ends up giving him head and he's like, that was the best head I've ever gotten. You're so pure. Yes, pureness, definitely super sexy and not misogynistic at all. Here's the thing, I could have fixed this book. If Anna and the publisher were like, hey, how do we take this and make it good? I would have been like, easy. Let's make everything make sense. Let's take all of this and make it make some fucking sense. First of all, it is not Tessa's job to fix Hardin, okay? But it is my job to fix this book. But if we were gonna go that route of her feeling like she needed to fix him, don't make it so that he has, you know, trauma and she's like, oh, I have to be there for him. No. If there's a bet, which by the way, if you don't know, the end of this book is Tessa goes and has this relationship with Hardin, leaves her boyfriend for Hardin after they fool around.
You know what? I can explain. Can you?
Fights with Hardin multiple times where he's like, yes, we're dating. No, we're not dating. I'm not going to admit that we're dating. We're not dating. I'm fooling around with you. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a dick. I'm a piece of shit. I'm fighting with you. I'm mean. And then at the end of the book, she finds out that he only originally started pursuing her because he made a bet that he could take her virginity, which is like, boo, boo, boo. That's not a plot. That's stupid. If we're going to, and I'm not saying that I would want to read a book like this, but if the publisher were to come to me and be like, how could we, if the author were to come to me and be like, what would you recommend to make this book better? I would say, if you want to go the route that Tessa is a person who wants to change Hardin, why not make two sides of a bet, right? Why not make it so that they both do the bet thing, but it's like they both know about it, where it's like she wants to change him into who she thinks is a better person because she's super judgmental. Why not actually pursue that whole Pride and Prejudice thing that Anna Todd hinted at? In the movies and in the books, I can't remember how much Pride and Prejudice was actually talked about in the book at this point, but in the movie I know it comes up several times.
Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth Bennet needs to chill.
Oh, Elizabeth Bennet needs to chill. Who even says that?
And it's like, so like they're like, oh, we're just like Heathcliff and Catherine, and we're just like, you know, Pride and Prejudice. And it's like, this is so stupid, because no, you're not. This is not a literary book. This is just nonsense. You just head this one note direction, and then you go around in a circle, and then the book ends with her finding out that he lied to her, and she drives away with Zed in a car. That's the end of the book. It's so stupid. And they tried to fix it at the end of the movie, but it was just nonsensical, and he like writes her a letter, and he's like, I'm sorry, in the most monotone note voice possible.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You once asked who I loved most in this world. It's you.
And you're like, yeah, I can tell you're really sorry. I can tell. But they also changed it in the movie where it's like, he didn't bet that he would take her virginity. He bet that he would make her fall in love with him and then drop her, which was even more stupid because it didn't make sense.
Make her fall in love with me. And then I'll just turn it off.
It was all a game.
But if they were going to do that, why didn't they just do a bet against each other where Tessa could have made sense that Tessa was like part of a very religious, strict community and went to college with the intention of like being a light to the world, which is what we're taught in Fundyland. And she could have gone and been like, oh, I'm going to be nice to my peers, even though she's like, there's undertones of judgmental behavior, but she's like, I could fix them. And then she meets these people and she's like dealing with an attraction to Hardin, but she's like not aware of what that is because she's never been taught about, you know, normal attraction. And then she meets Hardin, and they like mutually for some reason make a bet where he's like, I could make you more bad, and she's like, I could make you more good. Have like a Pride and Prejudice type thing based on that, where they like, you know, think that they're better than one another, and they think that the other is more judgmental than the other, and they, you know, have these arguments, but then they slowly start to fall in love, and you know, the bet ends with them, you know, making better versions of each other. That would have been a better book. I'm not saying it would have been a great book, but it certainly would have been a better book with a plot and, you know, themes that actually would make sense. Instead, what we got again was a judgmental girl goes to college, sleeps with somebody, and cheats on her boyfriend, never thinks about, oh, maybe I am becoming a worse version of myself, but maybe I wasn't even that good to begin with because I'm kind of a dick and judgmental and slut shaming literally everybody around me. And then Hardin gets away with everything. And then in the end of this series, if you don't know, what Anna Todd did was she was so, to me, seemingly exhausted by this one note where she had gone around and around in circles, having them have the same fight over and over and over again. Hardin's a dick, Tessa's judgmental, that in the end, she literally just up and decided, I'm actually going to make these two different people entirely. And Hardin changed his entire personality in the course of like a couple chapters. She ages them up, and then they end up together. It was so fucking weird. It made no fucking sense. It was so nonsensical, and there was no development of character. There was no understanding where they started and this journey that they were on. It was just nonsense. And that's what happens when you write a book in this episodic format, starting as One Direction fanfic, and don't really think about, where do I want this to go? What are the themes I'm trying to convey? What are the directions I want these characters and these journeys that these characters to have? Like, what am I actually trying to do here other than write Harry Styles having sex with a self-insert? So that's it. Those are my thoughts on After by Anna Todd. Why have I watched and read all the movies? Because they're a fucking train wreck. I actually went and saw that movie, the first one, in theaters. It was just me and some old ladies, and I was laughing hysterically. It's so funny. Like, it's so bad that it's comedy gold. It's like, it's really like for me watching Twilight, like that part of Twilight where Jacob gets the he gets the wedding invitation and he rips off his shirt and then he goes running and he changes into a wolf. peak comedy. And that's how I feel about all of those scenes in After that are just fucking ridiculous. Just laughing my way through. And apparently they're making more movies about it. Like, there's only 4 books, they made 4 movies, and at the end it said to be continued. Hilarious. Oh, comedy gold. But I could fix it. Anna, if you just want to like retract all of this, we could work together. We could make a good book. I could help you. Anyway, those are my thoughts on After by Anna Todd. Thanks for commissioning this, Christopher. I hope that this was helpful to somebody, and if not, enjoy all of the after clips that I inevitably stitched into this video because, oh my god, we need a laugh, don't we? Don't we need to? Anyways, thanks for watching. Leave your comments and questions down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Oh, Elizabeth Bennet needs to chill. Who even says that?